Got to work on my timing, folks. Got to time that perfectly at the 1 second. Welcome, one and all. Happy Thursday evening. 2:26. Thank you, folks, though that were in the chat last night over on Script Keeper's show over on Rumble, Script Keeper, and also in our show here when he came over and joined us. So cheers to you all who took part in that. If you haven't, please go back and check that out. It was a lot of fun. Always great to talk with Script. And Kevin, thanks for making that happen, brother. I forgot to mention that last night. I know Script and I mentioned you on his show, but didn't mention you on mine. So Script and I have been talking about doing a show, but Kevin was kind of like, come on, you guys got to do it. You got to do it. So Kevin was, the big proponent with that. So thank you for that, Kevin. Now, I've got to begin tonight's show, my friends, with an apology to you. I've been coming to you for many, many years, and I've always had to correct myself when I was wrong, and I've had to, make adjustments. I'm just checking on my audio to make sure we're dialed in here. So my apology is this: all of these years, I have been making a link between Hillary Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. And today she told us she never met him. All this time, folks, I thought she was on the island. I thought she was in the plane. I thought she was at parties. Oh, in Ghislaine, she only knew, very little, which is kind of embarrassing because Ghislaine was at her daughter's wedding. So, but listen, we got to take Hillary at her word. She hasn't lied to us before. So it's really, I guess I owe the apology to her. All these years we've painted her as this demon character. And here she came out and she fessed up and she said, I didn't know the guy. So I guess we got to put it to bed, right? We got to put it to bed and apologize. We all have to, I think we all have to do a little apologizing, right? So I was going to post, I think maybe I did this morning. I was going to post something like, they've been lying to us all along. Why would they ever speak the truth now? And of course, we get this big whopper from her. But what's really interesting is that they're having the reason why, in my opinion, that they have been redacting some of the things is because they wanted to get her and Bill in front of Congress first. So I think what you're going to see is Bill doing his thing tomorrow. And then I think you're going to see some more files released that, not only are they guilty of crimes against children, but they'll be at lying to Congress, which is a crime, right? Under oath. That's perjury. So, maybe like Capone, maybe they go down with an IRS scandal versus actual killing of people like Capone, versus maybe the Clintons. Maybe they'll be taken down by perjury. Yeah. So now I know that Ghislaine was at Chelsea's wedding. Was he as well? Yeah. Yeah. Hillary's nose should be at least 10 foot long by now. So I hope you guys, accept my apology about having Hillary Clinton all wrong all these years because obviously, she never met him. Meanwhile, there's pictures of her with him. There's he started the Clinton Foundation and Clinton Global Initiative. Financially, there's a lot of financial ties between them. It's really kind of hilarious, but to me, um, I think this is going to be. I think it's all a part of the script. Is really what I meant to say, and I said this. Let me take you to this post. I think I posted. Yeah, I did post this already. Let me take you to this today. Um, and I really this is really important to me that you guys get this. So this was before her testimony this morning, and let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, held to the gnaw. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thanks guys thanks for, you know, getting me. Hello D, how are you? But she emailed him inviting him to an event. Yes. Yes, she has emailed too. Um he was at Chelsea's wedding. That's an older one. Let's see. Let's see. Um Yeah, are they gonna charge who was it, Bobert, who released that leaked photo? Um, yeah. So, yeah. Far, far. Good evening, everyone. Hillary so far, far from the truth. Thank you, Candace, for the new buzzword. Yeah. Um, yeah. Wish they'd play the Frazzle drip movie right to her face. Maybe she'll go down as she perjures herself. So, all right, let me take you to this. So this was earlier today. This was before her testimony, and she shares her opening statement ahead of her closed door house testimony at the Chappaqua Performing Arts Center over her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. I had no idea about their criminal activities. I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. And she wrote a nice long letter. Congressional investigations are partisan political theater, which is an abdication of duty and an insult to the American people, as if, we um, don't already know that. As I stated in my sworn declaration on January 13th, so they have already perjured themselves. I had no idea about their criminal activities. I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane or visited his island, homes, or offices. I have nothing to add to that. Meanwhile, Q has a place picked out for her. Not a place, not Q place picked out for her, but Q in 1001 flat out tells us, let me pull that up for you. Shows us the island. Okay. 187 site is the name of the picture of Epstein Island. But also President Trump called her beautiful Hillary and talked about 187 as being a beautiful number and a beautiful place, completely linking it to Hillary and to Epstein Island. Now, why do I go to 1001? Because over the summer, over a year and a half ago, she had a book tour pinned to her X feed that flat out had this timestamp of 1001, and she had it up there for months and months at a time. And this was, I want to say, there's one of these, and I'm going to find it for you if I can. Because when you have this much up for so long, and here it was. This was the post that was pinned, and it was Hillary Clinton live. Come, buy her book, get it signed, hear her talk. And we've added 10 more cities to my book tour this fall. I'm excited so many of you want to come out and join these conversations about something lost, something gained. This got 2.1 million views. It was up for months, and it's 10:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that took us to 10:01. And where do roads lead? Each prince, Andrew, Charles, who else is associated with a cardinal direction, north, south, east, and west? Sacrifice, collect. This is what they're doing to the children, sacrificing them and collecting their blood for the adrenochrome. Classified 1, classified 2. So Q hasn't given us this yet. Tunnels. We know about the tunnels. Table 29, D room. So not only the table, but the room. H, D room R, D room C, pure evil, conspiracy. So this is HRC. There's no other reason to put another letter. D room H, D room R, D room C. That doesn't make any sense. But D room, table 29, is actually, if you're sitting there and Hillary walks in, you better get your ass up. Sorry, folks, I left you hanging there. My apologies for coming back. I clicked on it, but I missed the click. But this is what I'm taking you to right here. Okay, so this is very clear to me that she was, first of all, well, let me get back to my feed. All right, so she kind of lambastes them, right? You've compelled me to testify, fully aware I have no knowledge that would assist your investigation. In order to distract attention from President Trump's actions and to cover them up despite legitimate calls for answers. If this committee is serious about learning the truth about Epstein's trafficking crimes, it would not rely on press gaggles to get answers from our current president on his involvement. It would ask him directly under oath about the tens of thousands of times he shows up in the Epstein files. So, by the way, Hillary Clinton and Trump, the Epstein was covering the election. So most of Trump and Clinton's mentions, many of them in the Epstein files, are just showing Trump versus Clinton, Trump versus Clinton, Trump versus Clinton in the election. So if the majority, so they're still trying to pin Trump on these activities with Epstein. If the majority was serious, it would not waste time on fishing expeditions. There's too much that needs to be done. What is being held back? Who's being protected? And why the cover-up? My challenge to you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, is the same challenge I put to myself throughout my long service to this nation. Oh, I want to sign up for this seminar. Let me tell you that about what she wants to tell us after her long service to this nation. How to be worthy of trust the American people have given you. Whoa. As if she has been trusted by anybody. They expect statesmanship, not gamemanship, leading, not grandstanding. They expect you to use your power to get to the truth and do more to help survivors of Epstein's crimes, as well as the millions more who are victims of sex trafficking. Wow. Okay. And she goes deep more into Trump. It's a scandal, deserves vigorous investigation and oversight. So what was not on my bingo card for 2026 was Hillary Clinton um, demanding vigorous investigation and oversight of the Epstein files. Okay. Talking about human trafficking. Trump, I would get to the bottom of reports that DOJ withheld FBI interviews in which a survivor accuses President Trump of heinous crimes. I would demand testimony from prosecutors in Florida and New York about why they gave Epstein a sweetheart deal and chose not to pursue others who may have been implicated, et cetera, et cetera. Rubio and Attorney General Bondi testify about why this administration is abandoning survivors and playing into the hands of traffickers. Now, if you read this, it could make you mad because you could be like, oh man, this bitch is at it again. And man, is she lying through her teeth. So I wrote, all in positions of power have been put in submission. What we are watching is a brilliant white hat script to awaken the masses. When you come to this realization that has been proven many, many times, your perspective clears. You are better equipped to handle what is coming, and nothing can stop what is coming. The rusted wheels of justice grind slowly, but the guilty garments of the satanic cabal are already caught in the gigantic gear and will be crushed to eternity. Without question, this is what I believe. I believe that what we're seeing Hillary Clinton do is exactly reading the script of the people that now have control over her, and that is Q, that is Trump, that is the White Hats. Because nobody believes her. Nobody believes her unless they're completely left off their rocker, out of their mind. This guy funded Clinton Foundation and Clinton Global Initiative. He funded them big time. He started this. There is a relationship between them. And by the way, we sure as hell know that Hillary Clinton is deeply aware of Q and deeply aware of the timestamps. And what have I been, talking about? Now, I haven't vetted this yet, but here's a picture of Hillary, Bill, and Epstein. I have not confirmed this. I don't remember this photo. But trust me, they know each other. And so the Luke Rudowski says he thinks this is a fake AI video. Okay, this image showing Hillary, Jeffrey Epstein, and Bill Clinton together has been identified as real. It is a part of a collection of approximately 95,000 photos released by the House Oversight Committee in late 2025 and early 2026, which were recovered from the estate of the late Jeffrey Epstein. The batch includes several images of Epstein in social settings with prominent figures, including both Bill and Hillary Clinton, as well as Donald Trump. They always got to throw Trump in there, right? So, and this is, and then there's this. Let's watch this from Nick Sorter.
Why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to Dr. Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010? She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that. Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted before that.
She came as the plus one, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to Dr. Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010? She'd already been mentioned in a civil.
So after the conviction of Jeffrey in 2008, this was the wedding in 2010.
Lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre before that, Jeffrey
A +1. Yeah, I don't buy that at all, at all. Then there's this. This is Jeffrey P. Diddy, Bill Gates, Jay-Z, Hillary, Bill, and Stephen Pervert Hawkins. Yeah. So there's this. Okay. There's a lot of photos. Like there's a lot of connections. I don't ever recall meeting Epstein, Hillary Clinton. Yep. 2002 social event showing Hillary Clinton adjusting Jeffrey Epstein's tie while Bill Clinton laughs nearby. And by the way, okay, this picture, how did Jeffrey die? He hung himself, supposedly. He's not dead, but he was supposed to have hung himself. So not only is she grabbing him and hanging him, she's not adjusting his tie. She's showing like she's like hanging him or she's choking him, and he's even saying, "I'm being choked." I'm telling you, folks, we are in a scripted movie simulation, whatever you want to call it. But this is without question. Hillary was put into submission early because of her Twitter account. I've proven many times there's no way in hell that she would be dropping tweets. Like if she was doing 3 a day, it would be uncanny how many would actually bring up something really damning about her just on the timestamp, right? Just on the timestamp. And she's well aware of the timestamps and how important they are, right? So yeah. Yeah, I don't think, and now we're getting into probably some ridiculous stuff here. But yeah. So people are having some fun with this. People don't invite strangers to their daughter's wedding. And there's the picture of Ghislaine, who happens to have a front row seat, by the way, at this wedding as the +1, my ass. Whose +1 was she? Jeffrey Epstein? So, yeah. So at any rate, that to me, and I really believe this, my friends, that if you really take this approach of that this is a white hat script, I promise you, you will rest easier, and that will, and all will be remedied in the end. Okay, and so, yeah, so that's my take on Hillary. She even, said, today after the thing, after what's her name, let's just listen to a little bit of her. This is, and the reason I want to play this is because it really is unbelievable. Like you can't believe it. And so we're going to watch her lie right to our face here.
I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell.
No connection with him, even though he helped start the Clinton Global Initiative.
Casually as an acquaintance. But whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond. I never met.
Yeah. So she's flat out lying here. Right. And there's Ghislaine at her daughter's wedding. By the way, looking very, like very proud too, like very happy. And I'd love to see video of this to see who she may have looked at going down the aisle, right? Just her bestest friends. Yeah. So, yeah, very interesting. I want to play a little bit more of it for you because it really is a master class in just flat out lying.
It then got at the end quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet, that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me.
Meanwhile, Pizzagate got people like you and I terminated, and Anons terminated off of Twitter for calling out, simply just posting. What's her name? John Legend's wife, Chrissy Teigen's, just disgusting posts about pedophilia and children. Like disgusting posts, and we were just pointing them out and calling her a pedo, and she got so many people kicked off Twitter, right? But yeah, Pizzagate was a farce, right?
So I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end, when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed.
I love the fact that they asked her about Pizzagate as well, because that's going to be further perjury. This is what Comer said when he was asked the question about Howard Lutnick.
We'll do one more question. Go ahead.
With the spirit of bipartisanship, would you then ask the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to come testify? It seems like he has some information.
That's very possible, and I think I think it's a good possibility that his name will arise in some questioning today.
It'll be on my list, and I have an email I printed off for Hillary to ask about Howard Lutnick today.
Okay. So we're asking again, and I want to remind everyone,
So Nancy Mace is on it. She asked Hillary about Howard Lutnick, who, by the way, was Epstein's neighbor right next door in New York City. We've seen him on the island in pictures, and excuse me, and he bought that apartment from Epstein for like something like $10 or something like that. So there's something really funny going on there. So Lutnick there are a lot of questions surrounding Lutnick. Now, the work he's done with President Trump is unparalleled in the success. And I'm sure there are other people that could do a good job like Howard has done. But if he's implicated in these files, it doesn't matter whether he's red or blue. It's got to come out.
Already brought in Alex Acosta and Bill Barr for depositions. That's two Republicans in the Trump administration.
I'm glad he said this. Alex Acosta and Bill Barr, they brought in from Trump's previous administration.
So this isn't just about Democrats. This is about anyone that has any knowledge of Epstein, the investigation. I think we all agree the government failed. The government failed the victims. And what our role is, we can't prosecute anyone. But what we have been doing is getting transparency to the American people. We subpoena. So we'll do one more question. Go ahead.
So now what's interesting also is that they flew to New York. Hillary didn't come to Congress. They flew to New York to question her. Okay. How do they get away with that? That's one of the things that was a little disconcerting to me. So there it's just, and the visitor logs to the Clinton White House, by the way, let's talk about those. This is, 17 times, including a dozen in 1994 and twice in one day on 3 separate occasions. Was she never there? Did she never see him? Did she never, what a crock of shit. And then Bill Clinton was Jeffrey Epstein's closest celebrity mate and a frequent guest at his New Mexico ranch with wife Hillary. Staying at the pedophile's cowboy-themed village, say estate workers. Bill and Hillary would stay at Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico ranch frequently after they left the White House, former estate workers told Daily Mail TV. The former president was Epstein's closest celebrity mate, and the Clintons visited Zorro Ranch a whole bunch of times, a former contractor who ran the IT system at the property said. The family never stayed in the main house, but bunked down in a special cowboy-themed village created by Epstein, which lies a mile south of his own villa, sources said. The guest homes were next to other traditional Wild West-style buildings, such as an old schoolhouse and saloon bar, which are all near Epstein's private airstrip where he arrived on his private planes. This is all according to security expert Jared Kellogg, who was brought in by longstanding ranch manager Bryce Gordon to improve security and set up a camera system at the main house in Cowboy Village. Kellogg said, I was saying how cool the replica houses were, Gordon said. Yeah, they were built for guests. It's really cool the Clintons come out and hang out with Epstein. Bill Clinton and Epstein were once friends, and in August, Daily Mail TV revealed the convicted pedophile had a bizarre portrait of Bill in a dress worn by Hillary hanging on the wall of his New York mansion. Now, worn by Hillary, Daily Mail, I think, got that a little wrong because the picture is in a blue dress, but I believe this is supposed to represent the Monica Lewinsky dress that supposedly had Bill's semen on it. So, this is, so at any rate, and it's just very odd, all these connections, right? Yeah, some of these are, I'm not going to go through like a lot of, we already know this is a lie, right? So this is all coming out. But we needed to see her perjure herself first. And that she did. So thank you, Hillary. And let's see what Bill has to say tomorrow. Yeah, so let's continue on down this path. I forgot, I didn't know that this guy who was given the Medal of Honor, he was shot 4 times in the legs and still stood when Democrats wouldn't. That was just very, very powerful to me. Patriot. And remind me his name, Hero Zero. That was pretty big. Why is nobody mentioning his name? That would be good. Anyone want to put that in the chat for us? Just doing a bunch of memes. But yeah, so let me take you back. Let me take you to this. This is Scott Jennings regarding let me stay with Comey on this real quick. Let me stay with Comey. This has to do with Ilhan Omar, who I made a joke with Script on his show last night when I said, "Are you picking on Ilhan Omar?" And I said, her brother lied to her about, before they got married. And he said, "Oh yeah?" I said, "Yeah." He lied and said he was her cousin. It's just the absurdity of the conversations that you and I are having nowadays is should tell us everything about our world right now.
Why are you targeting her when there is Ilhan Omar? Your committee investigation with Ilhan Omar, when there is a process in the House and people have questions about their conduct, this would go through the ethics committee. Why is this?
And I've spoken. I'm glad you asked that question. I've spoken with the ethics committee. The ethics committee has jurisdiction over members of Congress. The two businesses in question are owned by Ms. Omar's husband. So the ethics committee does not have jurisdiction over a spouse, only a member. So that's why we just asked, we would have questions. I don't think anyone would.
But it pertain to her overall finances, because that is listed on her financial disclosure report. Even though
Well,
that's
we've run this by the ethics committee, and we think this is the appropriate route.
Why are you?
So they're going after Omar's husband or cousin or brother, however you want to do it, and this is the way they're going forward. Ro Khanna has been very outwardly asking about the Epstein files, hoping like hell that President Trump is in them in a very negative way.
And then there's the curious case of California Congressman Ro Khanna. You've probably seen him on TV, one of the people who has agitated most often for the release of the Epstein files and making some wild and erroneous claims along the way. Well, he is bringing to the speech tonight someone connected to the Epstein files story. Let's hear from Ro Khanna about that person in Cut 12.
Haley Robeson just wants justice. That's why I'm inviting her as my guest tomorrow at the State of the Union. She'll be speaking not just for herself, but for the thousands of survivors.
You heard the name there, Haley Robeson. Now, Ro Khanna says she is speaking for the survivors. But is she? The files show something completely different, that Haley Robeson was, in fact, someone who worked with Jeffrey Epstein to recruit young women to the island. According to CNN's reporting, and I'm just going to read it to you, quote, Robeson told police she remembered bringing 6 girls to Epstein and told authorities she was like a Heidi Fleiss, the Hollywood madam who ran a high-class prostitution ring. Robeson provided police with the names of some of the girls she had brought to Epstein's house. She gave the officers the cell phone numbers for 4 of them and told police she wanted to assist the investigation in hopes of receiving lesser charges for herself. Here's more from CBS News. I'll just read it to you, and I quote, Haley Robeson received $200 payments each time she escorted a new masseuse to Epstein's home, according to the police reports. Robeson targeted girls from the rural area outside Palm Beach, where she grew up, because Epstein believed they were less likely to complain to authorities. Here again, Robeson likened herself to the so-called Hollywood madam Heidi Fleiss in an interview with Palm Beach police. And Epstein, she said, once admonished her for bringing a 23-year-old recruit to his home because she was told, the younger, the better. So of all the possible people that Congressman Ro Khanna could bring to the speech tonight to highlight the Epstein issue, this is who he chooses. This latest Epstein fiasco with Ro Khanna comes after he outed 4 innocent men on the House floor by name, whose names appeared in some files, but who had, it turns out, done nothing wrong. He claimed they were perpetrators, and in fact, they were just random people. Seems like Ro Khanna has lost the plot here when it comes to Epstein. Seems that in his fervor to smear President Trump, he's actually doing a great disservice to the truth on an important.
Now, this is a guy, Ro Khanna. Let me
Curious
play the
case of
beginning here.
California Congressman Khanna, the people in 5. He is.
She'll be speaking.
Okay, so this is a congressman for California, Ro Khanna. Now,
Not just for herself, but for the thousands of survivors.
first of all, he's whining, right? Second of all, my guess is that English is not his first language. I don't know much about him. I don't need to demean him in any way. I'm actually trying to build him up to say that he's an intelligent human being. You're not able to, get to a certain level in life without having a modicum of intelligence. Now, yeah, we can look at Maxine Waters and we can look at, Ilhan Omar and AOC, et cetera, and really call question to their ignorance. Without question, we can do that and we'd be justified. However, they've had to at least make some decent decisions to get elected. This guy had to do that too. Well, so he's not stupid. He's got people that do background checks on people. Hey, do I want to get a picture with this guy, or do I want to go to this guy's event? Who is he really? Do we want to be associated with this guy? We don't want him bringing me down. This is conversation. This is a conversation that senators and congressmen, politicians from around the world have with their staff all the time, because they don't want to be associated with somebody that would harm their reputation. Are you telling me that Ro Khanna didn't do his homework on this girl? I don't buy that. What I do buy is that the white hats have dirt on this cat, and they said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to bring this woman to the State of the Union, and you're going to make yourself out to be a fool because she was actually working with Epstein. That I can see, because people are listening to Ro Khanna. They're listening to Hillary Clinton when it comes to Epstein. So think about all the people that you and I don't see, because this guy's a moron, Hillary's a crook, et cetera, et cetera. We just don't want to even listen to their, I mean, I have to kind of apologize for playing Hillary in front of you, because she's just, we know who she really is, and nobody wants to listen to that demonic voice. But think about if you're running the white hat operation, and you're stepping up and you're picking out people that you're going to have, fuck up along the way. Make it the people that we need to wake up are following and listening to. And to me, this is a part of the indoctrination towards truth. We have been indoctrinated. We know that, we wake up with one topic, whether it be vaccines or whether it be, chemtrails, bioengineering, whether it be climate change, whether it be the gender transition crap, what is a woman, along the way, some of these things have awakened us. What's happening with the children is what drives most of us that have been here a very, very long time. Because how do we move forward? If the children are being harmed, how do we move forward as a species by continuing to allow this to occur? So it's absolutely imperative that as many people as possible are awakened. And what better way to do it than to get people like this to fuck up, to get people like Hillary to say, I didn't know the guy. And then, Epstein or Ghislaine, she was just, +1 at my daughter's wedding. Nobody fucking believes you, Hillary. Folks, do you understand how important it is for us to know she's full of shit? Not for you and I to know, but for humanity in general, for the people that are still going to her book signings when she tours the nation, that are still asking for her autograph, that are still trying to get pictures with her. Those people need to hear her say, I didn't know him. And then look at all the evidence that says otherwise. And then say, what else is she lying about? Uranium One, Benghazi, the Rose Law Firm, the Clinton body count, Mena, Arkansas, Webb Hubble, Vince Foster, Pay for Play with the Clinton Foundation, Haiti, Evergreen, child trafficking. Do you see how the veil is being lifted? and we are seeing more clearly. And then you take a guy like Ro Khanna, who actually thinks he's doing the right thing, but he brings this woman to the State of the Union, and talks to about her. This to me is a white hat script. How many of you agree with that? I would really love to know. And by the way, if you don't, I want to hear from you. You know that. I don't want you to think everything I say is true. I just want you to think 99.999999999% is true. That's all I care about. No, I'm kidding. I want to hear what you really think, because to me, this is so clearly a white hat script. And I went over this, and I've gone over it with you. The cabal has had shit on these people, like really bad, deep, dark shit on these people for a very long time, and have been using it to blackmail them. Whoever gets a hold of that material, the white hats now have it, Q has it, Trump has it, can use it to blackmail them still, and blackmail them into doing things that will help wake up the population. Right? Okay. Let's see what you all have to say. The OKC cover-up, JL Bear. How about the freaking OKC cover-up, Oklahoma City bombing, and Waco, where two of Bill's, state trooper bodyguards were murdered. Okay. Gusto, Seth Rich. Hello. Yeah, Seth Rich. Thank you. Yeah, so let me see. So BP, I agree. 100%. Robert, good to see you, my friend. Paul Williams, I agree with you, Dave. Marty Ray, me. Decades, yes, decades, Debbie. This has been going on, if that's what you mean. Dems are just gullible, in denial, just beyond indoctrinated and retarded. Yeah. Thus the indoctrination, to expose the indoctrination for what it is. Cheers, everybody. Ravens Wings, I totally agree. Shit's happening. I see it. Ernie, 100% right, Dave. Jingle says, I was thinking all this morning, so I would agree. Awesome. Lisa, 117% believe you. Yeah, I do agree. It seems too weird otherwise. What's this, Pete? Shit going down? More like shit going upside down, Pete, right? Karen, I totally agree. We've known for quite a while now. Hillary has been gone a long time now. She doesn't look the same twice. Yeah. And by the way, the whole people say, oh, what do you call it? The cloning, the wearing masks, doubles, that's all a little far-fetched. Meanwhile, without question, Joseph Robinette Biden was not the same Joe Biden that we've known for 40 years in Congress. Okay. And as vice president. Let's see. Oh, don't forget Parkside. She was close with the chief of police at the Parkside shooting. Ruby Ridge. What was her involvement in Ruby Ridge? I know that was, I think that was under the big woman who looked like a man. What was her name? Help me out there. That called that, but I don't know what the connection was with Ruby Ridge. Jobless is absolutely. I think they're now using TDS to red pill these people by using Trump as bait. Without question, Old Yeller, I agree. Like, Yeah, what's so brilliant is that the way the white hat scripted this with Trump saying, "Oh, it's a hoax," this and that. Everybody thought on the left that he was in them, so let's go get him, right? Agree. Sorry, late response was eating. Um, I completely agree. There are also many who are playing a black hat part, but are really white hats. Yeah, horseface. That's interesting. And that argument has been made, and I'm open to that argument. Like some of the people that are really bad that maybe have been working with the white hats that to kind of Cat Mother B. I don't know what that symbol is, but thank you. People cannot believe that people can be so evil. Yeah, exactly. Totally patriots in control. But that, some of the bad people may be actually good. I don't buy that one. I really don't buy it. I get the argument. I just don't buy it. Marie, 100% agree. Wake and Trillium, what makes a great movie? Great actors. There you go. This is a cat that's acting. Body doubles with masks, both proven without question. Yep, I appreciate you, CIC. Thank you. Janet Reno, that's who it is. Thank you, Becky. Janet Reno. Yeah. Marty Reno, thank you. Yeah, read my lips, central casting, Bo Reno, yep, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah. Janet something, yeah, good enough. Good enough. Thank you. Mom to Val, yep, it's obvious. To me, it really is. And by the way, for those of you who inverted, like everything's inverted. Infiltration versus invasion. They aren't human. Princess Di, right? Yeah, they have to slowly show the people so it really sinks in to the non-believers. Ernie, you can't tell people the truth. You must show the people the truth. Reno Horseface, Janet Reno. Yeah, the AG, exactly. Oh, that's cheers. Thank you, Cat Mother B. I appreciate that. Cheers to you, my dear. Here you go. I'm drinking out of my Texas mug. That was a gift. Thank you very much. Good water. Good water with, by the way, my Saint Solutions, folks. If you're not getting your Saint Solutions, please do so. Colloidal silver, the Mysterium I put in every water I drink. It raises the frequency. I use Purple Pets for Jasper and his ears. Use SNED17 at checkout for 12% off your order. So this, my friends, is thank you for that response. And the next, Jasper's right at my feet. He's under the desk here. He came to my basketball session today with me, and the mom of one of the girls I coach takes him on walks around the park while we do our session. It's really lovely and very awake family. Very cool to have those kind of connections here in Texas. But let me ask you this: for those of you who believe this is this Patriots in control, white hat script being played out, aren't you more at peace? And this is what I wish for everybody that's going through this awakening. This is why I started this show, was because of how devastating my awakening was and how lonely that journey was. And I didn't want you to be lonely on your journey to your awakening. That was a big motivator for me to, help others not go through the same level of depression that I went through as I was uncovering all the lies that I had been told. So, okay. Let's see. Mount Carmel, Clintons were drug smuggling and trafficking way back then. I don't know what Mount Carmel, Karen. That's a mouthful. And thank you, BP, for ordering recently. This is Mount Carmel doesn't ring a bell to me. And please feel free to add context to that, and I'll speak to it. What could wake up the indoctrinated? Maybe a public televised event with Obama, Clinton, Biden et al. They were actually all masked imposters and removed their masks during the event. Wow, that would do it, right? That would definitely do it. Wayne Stu, hey Dave, give me a rundown on 107, please. Thanks in advance. Okay, 107 used to be W the Intelligencer. He was going on a few podcasts way back in the day. He went off doing podcasts for, I think it was a couple of months, and he came back with Field McConnell, who was an early truther. Now, many question what his real role was in the whole thing. But he came on pretending to be JFK Jr. And he had convinced Field that he was JFK Jr. because Field called him JFK Jr. And he didn't stop Field from doing that. So everybody thought that JFK Jr. went on at a time when people thought that he might still be alive. And he rode that money train for years before he finally had a conversation with not an early truther, but a guy who came along much later. I'm forgetting his name right now. I've been in touch with him, but he called him out for lying about being JFK Jr. I mean, he did the movie, he did the book, Kid by the Side of the Road, and you picture little John saluting his father's casket. So 107, I couldn't care if 107 came out with some prediction tomorrow that happened the next day. I would not listen to 107 ever still. Okay. He's a bloviator. He doesn't have inside information. He's been one of these people that has gone to Mar-a-Lago because he has money, mostly, your money if you've been watching him and supporting him. And he's not on the inside. He doesn't have any inside information. And Q told us to beware of people, all right, that have, there are no outside comms. And he has been calling for things to happen by month for many, many years, and none have happened. Trillium, I'm moving about 20 minutes away to a farm, a 17-acre farm. There's 17. How about that? Yeah, Pete, observe, not absorb, and relax. Jan, I am at peace. Glad I know what's going on. Awesome. I think it's all scripted to destroy the Clintons' legacy. Nevada Rob, when you think about it, the Clintons have a legacy without question. The Clinton Global Initiative, the Clinton Foundation. She was Secretary of State. He was president for 2 terms. They are infamous, right? They have a legacy. You and I know that legacy is shrouded in murders, corruption, pay to play, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, but for those who have been following them a long time, I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and he had reached out to me when Epstein got nailed in 2008, and he said, Sned, we were sitting outside a bonfire in front of your house, and you were telling me and his brother-in-law that Epstein, that the Clintons were tied with Epstein and child trafficking and the whole thing. We got into a big argument, and all this time you were right. But I was also, this was going back to 2005, right? Yes, Sue Brockschmidt. Yes, I am more at peace and less panic thanks to you, Dave. So thank you, Sue. Mission accomplished for me. Thank you. Robert, more at peace, but so ready for the shit to hit the fan. Aren't we all? Yeah. You don't want us to stand alone at cookouts, Cat Mobile. That's awesome. Yes. I don't want you sitting off in the corner like I was. Right. David Koresh at Mount Carmel. Are you thinking of Waco? And is that is Mount Carmel? Was that the name of their compound that I'm missing? Ravens Wings, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave, for being here for us. But some of us did do it alone for a little while. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you're welcome. I appreciate that. Madeleine Albright was involved with both Ruby Ridge, Waco, and Oklahoma bombing. Bo Hunter, good catch. Mom to Val, today at peace. Still haven't looked at any new Epstein files. No need. Let the normies get up in a tizzy and act like they're some kind of super sleuths. I already knew. Thanks. Mom to Val, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah, Horseface. Field McConnell was known as Abel Danger back in the day. Yeah, disclosure during worldwide EBS while they, yeah, we'll see if that's the big one. He is on all podcasts. I trust him. T Cloud, that's your prerogative, but I'm being asked because I go way back with this guy. I've been calling him out I called him out. I was one of the first people to call out him, to call out I was one of the first people that Phil Godlewski threatened to sue. I was right up there with the Scranton Times and X22, and I called out Charlie Ward before anybody else. I called out Mike Gill. So I bring receipts when I call people out. I don't say I don't like somebody because I don't like their personality or because I'm jealous of them or anything like that. Trust me, I call these people out because my belief is that if you are going to be in this truth movement as a leader, that you should have the criteria of truth. And he does not have that. He got famous pretending to be the son of our assassinated president, who was also assassinated by Hillary Clinton. By the way, that was one that we forgot, so that she could win the Senate seat in New York because he was going to run and he was going to beat her. Now, to me, that's stolen identity, that's stolen valor, and he has profited off of it at a large scale. So you can still support him, you can still trust him, but it's important to know how he got to the place where you're actually listening to him. Okay. Yeah, while all the criminals are forced to watch. Yeah, Wayne Willett is his real name. Let's see. It was when he was a governor in Arkansas. Remember, it was told to be a cult, but they were drug smuggling and trafficking way back then. Research it. It was so big. Yeah. No, I watched the Clinton Chronicles on VHS. That's how far back I go with the Clintons. And the Clinton Chronicles were very revealing about all the drug smuggling going through Mena, Arkansas. Yeah, he's a grifter. I agree. Wayne Stew, Dave, love you, man. Thanks so much. You're welcome, my friend. His voice never sat right for me. Yeah. Sounds like the place you belong. Sounds like the place you belong. What is that, Mach 1, babe? Let's see. Raven's Wings, I've seen some of the videos and it's hard to stomach. One in particular that actually showed the process of adrenochrome extraction. Raven's Wings, God bless you for putting yourself through that. Oh, Whitewater, Bow Hunter. Good call. Good call. Okay, I want to talk about Candace tonight. So Miata Girl, thank you for this. Hey, Dave, I listened to Candace Owens yesterday. I think she was talking about a wrinkle in time and time travel. Do you think maybe the story she's working on will cross paths with Q? Well, I really hope so. See, I stopped listening to Candace Owens because she knows as much about Israel as I do, but she doesn't know as much about Q as I do. And I think that the work that she's doing, see, here's the thing. If I didn't believe in Q and if I didn't believe patriots are in control, I would be spending more time on the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I've told you that. I called it from day one that he's alive. Okay. That this was because I said, who benefits? Cui bono? Well, the trans community who have become very violent with weapons very recently, they didn't benefit. Okay. The Tyler Robinson didn't benefit. His family didn't benefit, although they were given money that the father said should go to the victim's family. But the and Israel certainly would benefit by having him gone, especially since they changed the narrative like they have. But I also believe that the White Hats would have been on this and would not have allowed Charlie to go down. If you look at Charlie Kirk's death and who it benefits the most, it benefits our movement, our conservative right, Christian, America First agenda. Charlie Kirk serves that better than anybody. His death, okay, like his life did, because he was turned into a martyr. So I haven't looked into this because I've told you, Cash and Bondi and Bongino, they're reading a script as well. And that script, you're not ready for that script. I'll meet you in Valhalla. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a moment. But I think that Candace, and this is why I've asked you guys to, when you share this platform, please tag influencers like Candace Owens, because even though I know most of the people, almost all of them that have the kind of following that Candace Owens has, are either CIA or are propped up by big interests. So I want her to be exposed to Q and the real Q, because I would love for her to jump on board with Q, because I stopped listening to her because she knows as much about Israel as I do, but she doesn't know Q. And so she doesn't understand that Israel is a part of this. The Rothschilds is one of the sides of the triangle, the banking structure, the media, Soros. These are going down, and all this information is pointing back to Israel. So I would be spending more time on the Charlie Kirk murder if I didn't know that it was a scripted play. That's all. Okay. Illinois wants to tax bonfires. Oh man, this is unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I know about David Koresh in Waco. It's just I didn't know anything about Mount Carmel. Waco is, yeah, I was waking people up to Waco a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get this either, Wayne. It's listen, I love Nino. I really do. I think he and I have never met, but we've done several shows together, and I just like him. He's a pro boxer. He's a badass. He frustrates me in interviews when he interrupts all the time. And I've told him this, but the big wedge that was driven between us was 107, because I used to be on David's what do you call it? Pay program, pay channel. And I could go on and I could see how many views each interview that he did. And I'd always check my numbers. I wanted to see if his audience dug what I was putting down. And my numbers sometimes were better than 107's, but we were always like neck and neck, and we were always the top two. I think I got, 20,000 more views than what do you call it? Alex Jones. Okay. Because his audience knows that I'm more credible than Alex Jones. So this is, and I've tried to wake him up to Q many times, but so the one thing was a big wedge between us, which is unfortunate because he made the wrong decision. And I was still going on when he was having one on, even though I've tried to get him off of one for years and years and years. And he'll tell you that too, if anybody asks him. Yeah. So, yeah. Iran-Contra was run out of Mena, Arkansas under Clinton. Yeah. A lot of the drugs, a lot of the trafficking was taking place through Mena, Arkansas, when he was governor. Waiting, Old Yeller, waiting for the Clinton-Haiti connection. So much evil there. It's hard to be awake. It is really tragic. Yeah. My son is in the Fire Academy class 17. That's awesome, Cher. That's really cool. Folks, get your name on the wheel for a spin for a free year membership to Snedeheads and the Rubicon. You can donate via Zelle, Dave Sned at Gmail. Or give Sengo the head Sned, or you can donate with some of the links that Moonbeam is dropping in the chat. Please support this independent media. It is, and here's the thing, folks. Get your lazy ass up and hit the thumbs up button too. Okay. How about let's put some fucking energy back to me for all the energy I'm giving to you. How about that? How about we just have a fucking exchange of energy? Because the thumbs up on YouTube, on X, on Rumble, it actually lifts my channel and makes it harder for them to shadow ban and censor me. So you are a part of the solution if you're thumbs up, if you're supporting this platform. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Please continue to do so. If you can do more, please do so. Because I'm not moving because I'm moving into a bigger place. I'm moving because I'm going to save some money because I have to save some money. So that's not a lot of fun, okay? When people are making millions off this movement. And I have kept it to donations and a few different things that you can help to support. But I'm not making a fortune. I'm not even making a good living off this. You can make that difference because of the thousands that watch, the 10 to 12,000 that watch this show every day. You could make a big difference in my life. And the reason why I give it away for free, and the reason why I don't, I had a special interview with Script Keeper. Go pay me so you can listen to it. Or I have a great drop, or I got a great dive, or I got some great information I got to share with you, but go to the paywall. No, I've never done that. Okay. You know why people do that? Is because people are too fucking lazy to even give a thumbs up, much less, get on and send some money. I'm not whining, just to be clear. I'm calling you out to understand how we got into this mess. You go on Facebook, it's free, but they're mining your information. You go on X, it's free. They're mining your information. You go on TikTok, it's free. They're mining their information. I ask you for $17 to support Snedeheads. Why? Because I'm not going to mine your information. It's not going into AI. You're not being tracked. You're not being listened to. You're not being watched. And your children aren't being manipulated to commit suicide. like Instagram and Facebook and these YouTube shorts. I'm not draining your child's brain. And guess what? You're paying for all that shit. Oh, it's free on Facebook. No, they're selling your shit and they're making like 3, 4, 5 times what I'm asking you to subscribe to. And you know that, you realize that. If you're awake, you realize that. So when are you going to do something about that? Not getting any younger, and we're still supporting these jackasses that are, doing horrendous things to our children, and having porn on their sites and child porn. And I mean, folks, we got to step it up here. We got to step it up. And how do we do that? We support the people that we believe in. We support the people that have helped us. We support the people that are giving away information. It's all free. It's all been free. 1,600 plus shows over 7 years. Before that, I was on Facebook posting up a storm about Clintons, about all this shit for years and years and years, and certainly was free. And I never dropped a PayPal link until 200 shows in, when a friend of mine said, "Hey, how can we support your work? Please put up a PayPal link." And now I don't have PayPal. Why? Because I was talking truth, and it's one of the many, many platforms that I've been terminated from for bringing you information for free that is very dangerous to them. So, at any rate, okay. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I like Juan. Too bad you have to keep bad mouthing other broadcasters. Nino and Steve Bannon today. Shame you put them down to try to make yourself look better. Have a good night. I'm out. I hope you haven't left yet, because if let me just say this. It's not about whether you like Juan or not. Okay. See, you like Juan. I don't like Juan. So go ahead and leave, because I'm spitting truth about Juan. Okay. That's the fucking truth, what I told you. And the reason why I don't like him is because of those truths. Okay. Bad mouthing other broadcasters. What broadcasters get a pass, especially the ones in the truth movement. Listen, you're not hurting me by being out of this chat. You're not hurting me at all. So don't let me stop you. But I hope you stayed long enough to understand that. And I just told you I love Nino, but I think he's making a bad mistake with 107. And this is going to all come out in the end. Okay. But you don't want me bad mouthing Phil Godlewski? You don't want me bad-mouthing Charlie Ward, who has been caught lying so many times that somebody actually did a short film about him, 30 Reasons Why I Don't Trust Charlie Ward, and every single one of them was factual evidence that of lies that he's told. How long ago was Charlie telling you to take your money out of the bank? How many years ago was he telling you to take your money out of the bank? How many times did he tell you that he is a part of the system, the Q system? How many times has he said, "I talked to Q"? He never talked to fucking Q. So go ahead, go ahead and leave. Stick your fucking head in the sand, just like you did when you were completely asleep. Can you explain Waco, Dave? It's been a long time, but basically, two of Bill Clinton's what do you call it? I think it was two of his state trooper bodyguards that knew all of his dirt were the first four to go in to Waco, and these people weren't hurting anybody. They were trying to get Koresh, because they knew they had guns, and they knew it was that was totally illegal, and they killed women and children and these two Clinton bodyguards, and it was really, really tragic. That's really the only bit I remember off the top of my head. Let's see. Let's see. ATF sacrificial execution of the children. Yep. I like Mike. I've done one show with Mike. Mike does some really great work, without question. Mike King. And you should probably call out the podcasters that are peddling him as well. Like I thank you, Polar Bear Paws. I haven't done shows with podcasters that work with Savin, other than Nino, and I stopped doing that. So and do you think that hurts me? Like in terms of numbers and in terms of audience, growing my audience by going on with other podcasters that also have 107. I was asked to speak at an event here in Texas, and I agreed. And then I saw that 107 was on the ticket, and I declined. You don't think I would have grabbed maybe 100 new listeners or 50 new listeners or whatever along the way if I had taken these invites and these shows with these podcasters? Yeah, that would have helped me a lot. So declining that based on principle doesn't help me. Okay? It doesn't help me from a standpoint of money or donations or followers. Doesn't help me. Standing in my integrity is more important than the dollar. And that is what we must look for if we're finding somebody that we can trust and we want to follow. Yeah, I stopped following him years ago. He's not JFK Jr. I did buy his book when it first came out. Very interesting. Well, yeah, he sold a lot of books without question. A lot of the news shows on streaming are revealing a lot of the cabal, black hats actions, etc., like adrenochrome, child trafficking, child sacrifice, eating kids right in front of our eyes. Yeah, it's people are waking up. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Deborah said I got blocked from Melissa Red Pill's Telegram because I said Charlie's a fraud. Folks, Melissa Red Pill, the Charlie's Angels, Kirsten W, Ann Vandersteel, what's her name? Mel K. They were Charlie's Angels. They propped Charlie up. They came up through with Charlie. I wouldn't do a show with Kirsten until she denounced Charlie, and she stopped doing shows with Charlie. And that's what I said to Nino. I sent them both 30 reasons why I don't trust Charlie Ward. I explained to them that I called him out right after it was found out that he was lying about the king. That there was this king that was, pretending that he was the rightful owner, owner of the crown. And so, yeah, a lot of these people, folks, I mean, are they doing some good work? Yeah, they're waking some people up. I think they're doing some good stuff, but I'm sorry, that's not enough for me. It's just not enough for me. And I see I've been lied to my entire life. So to turn the channel of my viewership to another person that is lying, that's not growth. That's not evolution. And I have to be about evolution. All right. Let's see. Yeah, -48. That dude that was doing a lot of shows back in the day. What did they do? They said, "Oh, you got to come to Dallas because JFK and JFK Jr. are going to reveal themselves." People were staying there for days, spending money on hotels and meals and travel because they were fucking lied to. Yeah, negative 48. And negative 48 is in the drops. So for him to call himself negative 48, he's insinuating that he's a part of the Q team, which is again is one of the tenets of that Q told us to watch out for. Okay. They all know about Q, but are afraid to admit it. Yeah. Yeah. Without Q, I don't know how people are awake. Q is so important. I would be willing to say, Karen, that without Q, people aren't truly awake. That's how important this is. Yeah. So, okay, let me get to Karen. Charlie Kirk is definitely alive. Have we ever heard where his burial site is? Candace Owens is playing a part too. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. I meant you belong on a 17-acre farm. It's your number. I got it. Thank you, Mach 1, babe. Thank you for that. Read my lips. Q. Agree with Dave 100%. Thank you all. Kristen Mathis, good to see you, my friend. Yeah. Yeah. We've smartened up since a lot of the early, influencers. Here's the thing, folks. I've said all along, when this is all said and done, I'm still going to be here and I'm going to still have my integrity intact. How many times have you heard that? If I call somebody else out, or if I'm just talking about the movement in general and how many wrong turns it's taken, and I still believe that to this day, and without question. Is Nick Shirley a white hat operation? Yes, I believe it is. Okay, because think about it. It was right. Nick Shirley was at the White House with Trump talking about what it's like being out there among the liberals and how dangerous it is and so forth. And I think some of those folks were given certain marching orders. And Nick Shirley, within a week and a half of Trump calling the Somalians garbage, came out with that bit. So there we go. So Gay Fisher, Dave, you help on so many darker nights, and here we are finally in the light, spending my sixth birthday with you and all the Sneds. You are the best. Thank you, Gay. This is your birthday. I know it's not your sixth birthday. I'm guessing. Let me know which birthday it is. And it's funny hearing Nino talk about Q now. Yeah, and I was the first one that really woke him up to Q, and I was dropping bombs that he couldn't. 107 in his boots. Yeah, literally, you're sitting at his feet, taking this bullshit in. I mean that's it's ridiculous. 86 people died in Waco, including 4 ATF agents, and I believe 2 of those 4 ATF agents were former Clinton bodyguards. Let's see. Yeah, Nino's been interviewed now on War Room with Bannon, which I find to be very interesting because Bannon has some very close ties to Epstein. Yeah. And the pinky ring does me in too. Yeah. Yeah. I can't stand listening to Juan, but Fields said last week that he is not Wayne Willett. Okay, Fields lost credibility at this point, folks, because 107 is indeed Wayne Willett. Fields got to, he's got to say that because he was calling him JFK Jr. Yeah, so let's see. Oh, yeah, and Hillary was kicked off of Watergate. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up, my friends. I appreciate that. Always hit the thumbs up. Yes. I hit that button tonight at 7. Thank you. So, yeah, shared on X and Rumble, up on YouTube and Rumble. Thank you, Jingle. And Jingle, you always tag influencers too. I really appreciate it when you do that. Yeah, thumbs up. It's the thing you do even on X and YouTube. Thank you, Read My Lips. I appreciate it. Yeah, I always try to remember as soon as I get on Rumble. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Appreciate y'all. And folks, I got to tell you, it's like, maybe people were jealous. They're calling out other people. I'm not jealous. Like I feel bad for those people. Like I genuinely, because here's the thing. I don't have low self-esteem. Okay. I've done amazing things in my life. I've accomplished things that other people, dream of. Okay. Throughout my life. And I've reinvented myself many times, from basketball player to businessman to back to pro basketball player to movie maker, actor, then movie maker, um, uh, finance in world, raising money for companies. I've excelled at every level because I get after it. I don't fuck around. So for me, what we're witnessing with so many of these influencers is they're trying to be something they're not, be someone they're not, or have information they don't really have. And Q has warned us about these people. Beware those who profit from this movement. Operators never divulge. No outside comms. Okay. All of these are tenets of Q that if you really understand Q, you know that these people are not for us. Because they have low self-esteem. So to get their audience to make their audience think that they're worth listening to, they tell you they have a secret source. They tell you they have inside information. They tell you they talk to Q. They tell you they're a part of Q. They tell you that, Phil Godlewski was running the show. He had the 5 underneath him, of which Dan Scavino worked for him. Ezra Cohen Watnick worked for him. All bullshit. Also said he wasn't a pedophile and sued the Scranton Times for defaming him. And in that court case, it was actually found that, yeah, he was a pedophile. He is a pedophile. How many people followed him for years because he told you the earth was flat? He told you what you wanted to hear. He told you things that you didn't know before, so you trusted him. So this isn't about, me being jealous or anything like that. This is me being disgusted with many of the people in this movement and wishing you would be as well, because of the facts that I drop about them that you can yourself can research. Yeah. I've seen a lot of wannabes that I could tell they were fake. That's why I stayed with you for years. I learned a lot from you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Ernie. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I got kicked off Phil Godlewski's channel a long time ago because I called him out on his BS. Yeah. Let's see. You guys see the Q in State of the Union? Yes, Jennifer, I covered that, I think last night, but State of the Union, and they had the O that was turned into a Q, and that's also in the Q drops. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Thank you for this, Pete. Dave, those of us who have been following you for a while know you're a man of integrity and speak truth. I appreciate that. Do you believe what Juan says about Melania's outfits, or how do you? Well, see, that's not, Juan says that shit, but we covered it too. Like the dresses, like we were on that, Todd Gedeminsky and I were on that, like that. The orange dress, it's not Juan that's calling this stuff out, right? And he gets credibility because he has one of the dresses, for crying out loud. Yeah, no outside comms. Yeah. I also stopped listening to John over at Badlands because he screwed over a lot of people there, like Kate Awakening, who founded it with him, and P. Gunnels. I paid a little bit of attention, excuse me, to that. Here's my thing with John at Badlands. I think he's got some people over there doing some good work. and people that were doing their good work on their own, by the way. And but when Kash Patel was very popular and was in the Q drops, he called himself Patel Patriot. And a lot of people thought it was Kash Patel or associated with Kash Patel. So they followed Patel Patriot. Meanwhile, what's Patel got to do with John Harold? So that always struck me as really, really odd. And he was also saying the same thing that I was saying, but he was, calling it, by a word that I think limits the scope of the actual operation. What did he call it? Devolution, right? So, at any rate, yeah, careful who you follow. I am disappointed in so many. I've unsubscribed from them all. And folks, you're not alone. Like a lot of these people, Michelle, they're going onto these channels and they're hearing something for the first time they've never heard before. And so for those that were awakened by Phil Godlewski, those that were awakened by Juan, those that were awakened by Charlie Ward, a lot of people were awakened by them. But the people that still follow them are the people that, haven't figured it out, that those people are not to be trusted at the same level as those who have not profited from this movement, have not lied, have not pretended to know dates that they were not aware of, etc. Right? Yeah. PPN, Truth Seeker, 88, both are major grifters, and don't get me started out FCB. I had a brief interaction, but I started FCB and I were kind of following each other because FCB saw my Mike Gill exposure and FCB was calling out Mike Gill as well. So we had a mutual thing, but man, he was, I couldn't watch him and I didn't ever want to do a show with him. Yeah. Bo Hunter, yeah, I called him out on his flat earth bullshit. He didn't like that. You mean like touching the firmament and knowing exactly what it was made of and all that shit? Yeah, exactly. Ren, good to see you, my friend. You taught me everything I know, and I know a lot. LOL. Awesome. I love it. Let's see. Alpha Josh and SGNon says the same. Hunter says the same about who, Juan, or what did they say? SGNon, I like what SGNon has done, but he was promoting Phil Godlewski back in the day. I can't believe he didn't see through that clown. Appreciate that we can discuss the BSers. I agree. All the deep rabbit holes I've been down, I did on my own. John, good. LT, guys, I've told you nothing but good things about LT. LT and X22 I was watching before I started my show. I stopped watching LT and Dave simply because by the time their show was edited, we had already covered the topics the night before because I was doing it live. Please welcome Kenny. Welcome, Kenny. Edward, warm Arizona greetings, friends and family. Just getting in the door. Good to see you, my friend. Dave, your shows are always top notch. Thank you, Chivo. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I think it's one of the best shows on the internet simply because of the level of integrity and the information we share, and that it's free, and it is one of the longest shows on the internet of this subject matter as well. So I think it's a great show. We've got a great chat. We've got great mods and Pete and Moonbeam. So yeah. John, yeah, I was talking about John. John, yeah. I don't know Zach at Red Pill 78. I don't know Zach. What do you know about Serial Brain 2 explanations about the Q drops when they were happening? Yeah, I was watching that too. Wasn't Serial Brain 2 tied in with LT? Yeah, Devolution. Thank you. And Burning Bright. And I've read some of the stuff of Burning Bright as well. And I don't know him, but I've liked some of the stuff he's written. Audie, I only follow you now. And I think a lot of you were of that, same ilk too, and I appreciate that. Kenny Fountain, newest Snedhead. Thank you, Lenog, for giving a shout out to Kenny. Gay, it's your birthday. Okay, Gay. Did you want us to know what birthday it was, or do you want me to wish you a happy 6th birthday? Rattle Trap 1776, I think, does some good stuff. I haven't seen a lot of it, but what I've seen, I like it. Yeah, I was awakened by Charlie Ward for a little while, but we move on. Yeah. And so hats off to them for waking some of you folks up, but we have to evolve. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Alpha Warrior, he got his start with Nino, and he's game to do a show together, and I do like him. I don't know much about his content. Josh Reed, I don't know at all. So there's that. And Alpha's a veteran, and I think he's doing some good stuff. Scott McKay, I did a show with a couple months ago, and because he called me and he reached out to me and he acknowledged me for being integrity and longevity, and he wanted to have me back on to reintroduce me to his audience. And I took him up on that because we did some shows back in the day. But I do believe that he had some pressure to kind of blackball me when I was exposing Charlie Ward, because he and David, Robert David Steele, were doing a tour, and they needed Charlie's audience for that tour. And I was sending out 30 reasons I don't trust Charlie Ward. And all of a sudden, these people weren't doing shows with me anymore. And Robert David Steele went on with Charlie Ward and basically called me out, but was saying some people on the internet. And he just tried to discredit us and the guy who did the video, which was M Seeker of Truth, because he only had 5,000 something followers on YouTube. And I wrote back to Robert David Steele. I've said, why does his viewership have anything to do with it? It's just look at the content. But they were trying to fill seats and they were trying to make money. So at any rate, those still following PG are just groupies. FCB has lost it. I didn't know that, but with all respect, Dave, I thought you and Todd were dynamic together. Wondering if he will ever be on with you again. Todd and I were, I think, great together. It was a time to make a split. It was a lot of time for he and Cindy. There were some things that I was wanting from that relationship that weren't happening. That I won't get into, but I am grateful for Todd and his, he learned Q from me, and he took it to a level that was really exceptional. And Cindy was a lot of fun and very dynamic. And so, but it was time, like anything. And it's the other thing too, is that I was starting to have problems with relying on other people, and I've never wanted an existence in my adult life that I had to rely on other people for certain things. And what I mean by that is I want to be able to come and talk about what I want to talk about that I think will be the most helpful to you. And there was, it was just, it was time. It was time for a shift, and I'm happy to do that. I don't know if we'll ever do a show again, but I am grateful for Todd and Cindy for many years of just really great interaction. Let's see. Thank you, Whip and Spur. I appreciate that. Yeah, I haven't done this in a while. I was just talking to my friend. The the rants have been fewer and far between. And she was reminding me of that. So, yeah, let's see. A lot of people started after you were on for a long time. Those are the ones you need to look out for. Yeah, exactly, Ernie. That's a great point. How long have they been in this fight? I've been in this fight 19 years. And this has been a long haul. So there's credibility. There is a difference, folks. I've played basketball. There is a difference between a veteran and a rookie. There is a difference between a senior and a freshman. There is a difference between somebody that has been doing something a very long time and honed their craft and somebody who just came out yesterday. And what was very obvious to me was that the people that started, when I did, before I did, none of us made any money off of it. But then people started seeing it as an opportunity to do just that. So length of time and it has a lot to do, in my opinion, with credibility. Why did Trump endorse glyphosate? Okay, Lori, I got into this a little bit the other night when he did this. Baby steps. That's all I want to say. They didn't cancel the childhood vaccination schedule. That would be my preference, like getting rid of glyphosate altogether. That would be my preference, probably yours as well. They can't do it all at once. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, because who are they stringing along? They're trying to wake people up. And that's what I have to say about that. I don't think that's a permanent thing. I think it's a very temporary thing. Yeah, LT is great. Let's see. Yeah, one thing you can trust about all of them is they enjoy spending all that money as they continue to steal it with info that others put their hard work into. Absolutely. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, thank you, Audie. I appreciate that. I think I look better with the haircut. We haven't talked about my haircut, but I've just had it straight all the way down, and I didn't like it, and I just wanted, to shorten it a little bit. I appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, Dave is a day behind on his shows. It's because he has to take his content and edit it, whereas we go live, right? But he's got great content. Let's see. I'm in a love-hate relationship with Mike Adams. Brilliant guy, tons of great info, but a lot of doom and gloom, totally trashing Trump lately. This is from that camp. Think about it. Alex Jones, Mike Adams, that whole crew. Joe Rogan didn't even endorse President Trump until the day before the election. I'm sorry, Joe. Have you met Kamala Harris? Have you really? Did you know who Tim Walz was? Like, how did you wait that long to fucking put your hat in the ring for Trump? That's like waiting for the horse, like, that far from the finish line and saying, yeah, I'm gonna go with horse number 7. You don't get any money for that. You don't get any benefit, from that. So Mike Adams is from that camp. Mike's not a Q guy. Tag Mike Adams with my show. See if he wakes up to Q. But Q flat out called out Free Speech Systems, which is Alex Jones' company, and Mike Adams has done a lot of work with them. And he is doom and gloom, and he's not Trump. He's not Q, and he's not Trump. Oh, thank you, Maggie. Yeah, it was awesome to meet you. And that was here in Texas. And by the way, I want to do more in-person stuff here in Texas. Let me see. Let's see. Rock's Wisdom, been here since 2018. Richard P. brought me on. All others have faded, but you, Dave, I'm with you, brother. I appreciate that. Oh, Richard Presley. Rest in peace, Richard. He was a dear friend of the show. Got cancer and died, and he was a good man. I met him in Orlando when I came out to Orlando, and a bunch of folks came out to meet me. It would be cool to end with Art of the Silence. I could do that. I'm sure I could do that. Burning Bright is conceded. I don't know much about him. Oh, Rattletrap is Derek Johnson. Thank you, Pat McCabe. Derek is, listen, I talked to Derek a long time ago. I could have had Derek on my show when he was blowing up. My concern about Derek was he came up through Charlie Ward. But the stuff that Derek is talking about is the same stuff that I've been talking about for a long time. And here's another one that came on later. The stuff that Derek started talking about, I'd been talking about for years. But he put it into a context that I think was very palatable, and I applaud him for that. I have heard other things about him personally, but if you're looking for content that I think is pretty spot on, I haven't seen much that Derek has put out that isn't spot on. But again, it's what's your taste and who do you want to listen to? I only watch people who show receipts. I've learned the hard way that unless they can back up what they put out, I say no. Ravens Wings, that's our evolution. That is what we should all aspire to. Yeah, Derek Johnson knows his shit and has a photographic memory. Yeah. C. Cutler, I too am a loyal follower. You're the best, Dave. Thank you so much. Alpha is let me go back. Brad Barton, I don't know. Haven't listened to his stuff at all. Alpha is pushing the threat of sleeper cells in America. Well, I will tell you this, that I wouldn't say I push it, but I've told you about that stuff. I did after 9/11. I was going to make a documentary, and a woman producer that I was going to hire as a producer came to me with this video called Jihad in America, and it talked about all the sleeper cells in America, the Muslim sleeper cells. So he's spot on. They absolutely exist. Whether or not they'll be activated in a way that really affects us negatively remains to be seen. Wide Awake in Dreamland, I love your show, not only because you have great content, but because the community is also very welcoming and not a battle zone. Overall, great experience. Thank you all. Wide Awake in Dreamland, thank you for that lovely, lovely comment. I agree with you, folks. Our chat is really strong, really vibrant, very awake, and we're all like-minded, because we engage our minds in critical thinking. So hats off to you as well for making this experience even better. Let's see. Yeah, and Numgarad, listen out for Warrior and John Harold yesterday. It was interesting, as John is not a Q guy. I think listening to people that aren't Q is just a waste of time at this point. I really do. Like, why would you? It doesn't make any sense. We've gotten so many confirmations, right? McKay tells us what you want to hear. He's BS. I like Alpha Warrior and Brian on Badlands. I don't know Jason Q. Jaco, I feel I've never met him, never talked to him, but he was a part of that group that I feel were blackballing me because he was told to, because of Charlie Ward stuff. Robert David Steele, I believe he's still alive. Could be, I don't know. Scott was first to break that it was a military operation, but he got very cocky. No, he Q broke that it was a military operation. It wasn't Scott. That's Q. And Scott is Q. and that was another reason he reached out to me. I still think about Wally. He was proud of your show, Papa Sned. Thank you, JL Bear. I appreciate that. He did tell me that. Yeah. Ravens Wings. I like Mark Atwood out of the UK. He's pretty cool. You know, I've listened to Atwood a handful of times, and I've liked him of what I've heard. Yeah. Edward, hey Dave, Edward here. First things first, I'd like to express my gratitude to and for you. All ass kissing aside, you coached me to develop my own, use my own discernment. My question is, who else does that? Thank you, Edward. Yeah, I mean, that is, I don't want you to just listen to me. I want you to be discerning and really ask cui bono, who benefits of every situation, and how to dig and how to dive. So thank you, my friend, for that, because that is my goal. When I teach basketball, folks, I teach the players how to teach themselves. I teach them how to be a shot detective, how to feel in their body when something is wrong, how to slow their motion down. I teach them how to teach themselves. And that was my goal with this show. And thank you, Ed, for confirming that it is working with many of you. Thank you for explaining, Dave. You have taught me so much. Thank you, C. Cutler. I appreciate that. Jason Q, yeah, I don't know. Found you through Hawk years ago. Awesome. Yeah, the beauty of this show is that we can discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly without condemnation. Yeah. Thank you, Ravens Wings. Yes, I do love engaging with you. Sometimes I'll do a whole show and I haven't really engaged with you because, the fire hoses that are coming at me. And I'll think after the show, oh, I kind of missed that connection a little bit. So I do like that. Let's see. Gusto met Scott in a Home Depot parking lot with his tour bus, and he was a real dude with a hatchet. Yeah. Long time listener, first time caller, Quasi Pete. Yeah, right. Let's see. Why would Hawks have Juan on a show? He knows how I feel about Juan and some of the other stuff, and he, I think, got into his book and stuff. So a lot of people have fallen for him, but a lot of people know about him and still choose to listen to him. And I just don't agree with that. Yeah. Thank you, Num Garrett. I appreciate that. Yeah. Let's see. DEFCON 0 and Q After Hours with Alpha and Josh are good. They go into Q, but not the depth you do with us, Dave. You taught us so much through the years and gave us peace. Thank you, Hunter. I appreciate that. I'm just up here in the rafters. Yes, hanging from the rafters like a bat as you type, I'm guessing. Post a link to your donation, Dave. Thank you, Half Truths. I will do that. I have not done that over on YouTube yet today. So I will do that. I appreciate that. Let me see here. And let me go to the comments and I post it in the comments. That'll show up on YouTube. There you go. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah. So why is Trump getting chummy with Mondani? I think that's all about exposure, folks. He said he's going to be the best thing to happen to the Democrat or to the Republican Party ever. And I agree with him. Let's see. It's all about growth. We will never convince people of the satanic globalist agenda if they won't believe in weather modifications. Just saying. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, the P.O. box, I may move my P.O. box, but right now it's remaining the same. So I will get something from you, P.O. 1554 Dripping Springs 78620. Thank you for that. I don't know much about Charlie Freak. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. You notice the trim because you're a hairdresser. Did I go backwards? Let's see. Yeah, this is a great community. You have to be aware of the dangers that exist, but you can't walk around being afraid of things. Fear is the lowest vibration there is. And that's where they want us, right? Ravens Wings, they want us fearful. They want us weakened. And that's exactly what fear does. Barton is in cahoots with Phil Godlewski. I didn't know that. Yeah, let's see. Mach 1 Babe says Survival Dispatch. They talk about sleeper cells and prepping. They have a Pakistan Command 11 guy, ex-CIA and Green Beret that do this show. Very informative. I'm not a fan of it. Oh, this is the other thing about Jaco. No one is former CIA. If you're CIA, you're working with the CIA, you're CIA forever, as far as I'm concerned. That's the way I felt about Robert David Steele too. Let's see. Alpha was trying to educate John on Q. Garrett, is that what you were talking about? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. I want to get back to the news, but this is great. We love getting to meet Wally and watching you two together was special. Thank you, Ennis Land. Appreciate that. Pete's just here for the abuse. I agree about your audience. Sneds are great. Tried to watch Tim Pool. Couldn't stand the chat. Yikes. Interesting. Yeah. I love this family talk. We all agree and disagree. This is a great show. Thanks, Dave. Mary drinks beer. Thank you for that. You helped recognize the fake Godlewski. Yes, Jody. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. You encourage and show us how to do critical thinking. Thank you, Moonbeam. I appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, okay. Dave, what do you think of redacted news? Okay, so not Q. So very limited, but they do some good stuff. It's kind of enjoyable to watch. They got a nice studio, man, woman, husband, wife. He was former Fox News, so he was in the he was a part of the indoctrination. So I'm always a little wary about them, but I think they're waking up some good people. Lenog, my biggest struggle is trying to get people to realize that doubling down and actually taking part in your entire podcast is gold. Lenog, thank you for that. Thank you for trying to get people to double down and step into it and enjoy it. I find it to be very unique and not much slips past me in terms of content and in terms of the world events that are unfolding. And so I try to catch it all for you, which is why I spend so much time outside of the show, making sure I got the goods for you. Yeah. And I get away from this a little bit, but we got to check our coats. And I would start out every show checking our coats. Dave, reach out to Derek Johnson and try to get him on. I could do that. I still might even have his phone number. Because we communicated briefly via text. Dave, are you going to be on with Script Keeper and others tomorrow? He and I talked today. If it's not tomorrow, it's probably going to be next week. He mentioned he's not sure if he's going to get it together in time for tomorrow, but yeah, he does want to have me as part of that roundtable. We really enjoyed our conversation last night. I believe our popcorn days are almost over. Kind of tired of it myself. LOL. I'm with you. I'm with you. Brad Barton is a Q guy. Okay. Dave is best with 17. Thank you, Lisa. BP Earthwatch, I like. Sometimes during the day, otherwise listening to the Holy Spirit as I go about my day. Spiritual speakers online. Dave gets my nights until dream time, and that's about it. That's awesome. Thank you for that, Polar Bear Pause. Yeah, we're weaning off the starters. I like it. Yeah, James, good to see you. How you doing? Yeah, folks, please get your name on the wheel for a spin. Help keep the lights on. Help me with my move. Every dollar counts. If you can only do 2, 5, 10, whatever you can do. Those of you who do more, I definitely appreciate that. So please help support this completely independent media that has been given away for 7 years. It's a show, Total Exposure, hang tight, New York City. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Jerry Nelson, Dave, what a time to be alive. Thanks, bro. You're welcome. It is an amazing time. Cat turd would be another good one, Dave. Well, okay. Cat turd is definitely controlled. Cat turd was one of the ones that was, said that Candace Owens is a demon, and they all got their marching orders, and they were all exposed as being a part of the disinformation campaign. And so I don't trust Cat Turd. I don't trust somebody that is saying the exact same thing as all these others. And I think I have this here somewhere, and I'll see if I can pull it up, that the graphic of all those who did that. But that's why you got to be really careful. I don't know Cat Turd. I don't know. He's probably a nice guy. I'd probably like a lot of these people. I genuinely like people. But if they're part of this disinformation campaign, they're going to lose me pretty damn quickly. And especially if they're getting paid per post. Script and I were just talking about that last night, that these people that are posting pro-Israel stuff are literally getting paid $7,000, if they have a significant following, getting paid $7,000 per post. And it's like, and I said, Script and I could do one of those a month and we'd be fine. We'd be good, but we'd sell our soul once a month. For a post, it's just not an option. Okay, let me share this with you. Okay. So here we are. Graham, I don't know Graham. I'm convinced Candace Owens is a demon. Politics 1776, Candace is a demon. Jordan's S90, I'm not so sure if Candace Owens is merely a demon. I think the devil gave her something. Steve Deese, what Candace Owens is doing is the most wicked and satanic thing that has ever come from the online right. Cat Turd, just so you know, Candace Owens is pure evil. She's a demon straight from the bowels of hell. Now, if you believe that, well, you might say, I'm going to keep listening to Cat Turd because I believe him when he says that. Meanwhile, okay, he's saying the exact same thing as all these other people are. So what's that tell you about him? Natalie Jean is a demon from the pit of hell, used the bowels of hell. Candace Owens is a genuine demon. Gunther Eagleman has got a huge following. Whether you are a Candace fan or not, this is evil. Come on. Right. So I get it. I get it. I appreciate that, but I'll pass on the Cat Turd thing. Now, would that give me like unbelievable exposure? Yeah. Would I make more in donations? Would I, maybe not have to move and maybe, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah. So what price shall I put on my integrity? So, because it's priceless. And that's all we have at the end of the day. Gene Decode, I called out, was one of the first people to call out Gene Decode. I could have had Gene Decode on because she he boosted Kirsten W's show, and Kirsten would call me every day and looking for intel. And I told her, stop looking for intel. All these people were looking for intel. Stop looking for intel because there are no outside comms, and you're going to be, people are going to depend on you for intel, and you're not going to have it, and you're going to make it up. And literally a couple months later, she's reading real raw news as if it's her intel about the Gitmo trials. So she asked me, she said, I could get Gene Decode on with you. And I said, he's never shown a receipt. He's never shown any proof of anything he said about these tunnels. Not a lick, other than, maps that we've seen. But I'm talking about going down and taking out the deep state, and explosions happening and earthquakes happening because the explosions were happening, and there was a war below ground. He never had any receipts. And so I didn't, and it was an outside comm. So I passed. Cat Turd did say he was told to. Well, I'm not going to do what I'm told to if I don't believe it. Right. So Praying Medic, he was an early Anon, very helpful in this information war. I don't know much about Trader Girl. I think I've interacted with her a couple times, if it's the same one I'm thinking of. Give us Nassar currency revaluation, high value XRP, sick of waiting for the inevitable. Don't forget, what happened in Saudi Arabia will happen in the US, then Asia, then EU, Iraq, the currency revaluation in the Middle East, that's Western Asia. Yeah, that's what Alpha was saying. Lots of misinfo influencers in the movement. I think he and I would get along swimmingly. Yeah, I've heard this about Derek, that, and he loses his temper, but it does get frustrating when you're trying to tell people, give them facts, and they're attacking you. Let's see. Let's see. Who's called out Charlie Ward, Candace, and Godlewski, Bo Hunter? Did I miss that? Yeah, Nick Alvier, he and Script did a great job exposing Godlewski, and Nick and I had a brief falling out, but he reached out to me. He apologized. He came on the show. He apologized over the Mike Gill situation. So, with me, Nick Alvier is a stand-up guy because he owned it. So yeah. I don't trust Erica. Kind of looks manly too. Yeah, I don't trust any of that situation. Okay, so Kathy, please explain the Stripe Pay. I don't know how to use that one. Email, is that your email or mine? The Stripe Pay, I think you'd put in your email because that's my Stripe. So put in your email. If you're doing Stripe Pay, if you have more problems, please reach out to me at my email, which is davesned@gmail.com. And I can help you through that. Or if you'd rather do the, the Zelle, you can do that with the Zelle link, davesned@gmail. So either way, the davesned@gmail, you can either do through Zelle, or you can email me with questions on how to support. Thank you for that. Thanks for making the effort to do that, to support the work I'm doing here. It is much appreciated. So the Project Mockingbird repeat, Raven's Wings, that's what I see the alternative media as being. And I think that's what you're talking about, right? It's like they knew they lost us in the mainstream media, so they had to have these nets out. When people were jumping out of the mainstream media, they caught them in the nets that they controlled. Some of those nets were Mike Adams, where he's talking about a lot of stuff that's waking people up and this and that, but he's bashing Trump. Alex Jones, waking up a lot of people, talking about a lot of important stuff, but he discredits Q and has challenged Trump a lot of times. You know, all these different people, Godlewski talking about the flat earth and how he's a part of the operation. Charlie Ward saying he talked to Q, you know, all these people that are doing Simon Parks, same thing, talk to Q as part of the operation, the whole thing. So these are nets that are catching people jumping out of the mainstream media, looking for truth, falling into these, you know, these nets of lies, of people propping themselves up because they have low self-esteem. Thoughts on Erica Kirk? This is a great Q&A, folks. I didn't plan on doing this. And we're at 2:26 already? Holy cow. How did that happen? I've been on for 2.5 hours. Wow. Just talking to you. This is so cool. I didn't get into a lot of stuff. I was going to talk about LAUSD superintendent. Somebody mentioned in the chat earlier. That's all gone, folks. Let me just say this. And I'll give you my thoughts, Mary, on Erica. Everything is being revealed. Federal, state, city, local. Why? Partly because of Trump, Q, certainly a big part of that, and awakening the masses and starting this revolution. But primarily because people like you and I are challenging, where's all this money going? Who's doing this? Why are they doing, da. We're awake now, folks. You cannot put a cat back in a bag. You cannot, put the toothpaste back into the tube of toothpaste. You cannot. It's out. You and I are awake. We're using our critical thinking skills. And this is why it's so important to challenge the people that you listen to. And I don't care if it's on mainstream, if it's on Rumble, if it's on X, if it's on Facebook, if they have their own channel. I don't care. It doesn't matter. The method in which they reach you does not matter. Challenging what they're saying to you and going and confirming with your own research, that's where we need to be. That's where we need to evolve to, because there will always come along a charlatan who will deceive you. So until you shift the way in which you think from, whoa, I just read this, you got to see this, before saying, wow, this is pretty significant. I just read this. Let me check to make sure it's true. Let me do my own digging on this. And then when I do share it, I'm going to add layers to it. That's a beautiful thing. This is why Q was speaking to the Anons Socratically, like asking questions. What happens when you ask questions? You fire that part of your brain of critical thinking and research. Asking questions doesn't go to the emotional side of your brain. Okay? If I ask you how to get to your house and I'm down the street, I'm 20 minutes away, you're going to go boom, left brain. You're going to make a left out of the parking lot. You're going to go down half a mile. You're going to make another left. Then you're going to make your first right. And at the mailbox, and you're given these instructions on how to get to your house. That's completely left brain. And it's memorization and it's knowing. And if you ask, are you out of your fucking mind? That goes to right brain. That goes to the first time that you were, challenged for a belief you had. as a child, and it goes to that pain that you experienced, and you lash out, or you go back. So there are certainly different ways to ask questions to go to the right brain or left brain. But what Q was doing was asking us, many of the questions were left brain that got us engaging our thought process. And that's why that was so important. So what I was saying earlier about Erica Kirk, like the reason why I'm not going after Erica Kirk, I'm not going down that rabbit hole, is one, because Candace is doing a great job of doing that. And two, it's because I believe that she's reading part of a script. I believe that she's acting, she's central casting, and she's playing this role, and she's a bad actress. So she's not doing a very good job of doing it. That's what I believe. So that's about it. So let's see. Okay. Let me I love when Dave's daughter would bring him dinner when he was doing his show. So sweet. We need Jasper to step up and feed daddy. I agree. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I miss her. She's been on a camping trip. So I'll see her tomorrow. But let's see. Thank you, Maggie, for the Zell. I will, if you Zelled it, Maggie, February 20th. I got you, Maggie. Thank you very much. And you're on the wheel. I think we'll probably do a wheel this weekend or early next week. Russell J. Gould, some good stuff. It goes way back. If Russell J. Gould is talking, I'll listen. Because there's some really powerful stuff in his information. But I haven't, gone down that whole, full rabbit hole. Got to have Q to understand it, but not patriots. Exactly. Yeah. Gigi, love this. Thank you. You're welcome. Tip of the spear. Thank you, my friend. Garrett, I got sucked into Simon Parks back in the day, and you called him out, Dave, and I was annoyed. Duh. How we have come along since then. Thanks to you, Dave. Thank you for that, Garrett. Yeah. You and Moonbeam could tell some stories, I'm sure. Erica lies a lot, maybe a clone, very military. Yeah, there's just something really sketchy. Erica Kirk arrest that will shock the world. That could be very interesting. I do plan on watching Candace's thing on her. I haven't watched it yet. Home family talk here with Dave. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, Julie, I like Julie. I hope to do another show with Julie. Yes, everything is actually happening. Yeah. Yeah, not shock the world, trigger mass population awakening. That's a good correction, Garrett, because a lot of people get that wrong. South Carolina magistrate was arrested recently for child porn. It's happening. Nothing can stop what is coming. And Ravenswings, when I saw that post, all I thought about was they're exposing the judiciary. Hey, what's going on under those robes, folks? We got to know. And it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. Yeah. Yepers, Dave, all getting Doge top to bottom. Can't be stopped at this point. I agree. That's why we're all together. Love you all, Snedhead family. Thank you, Lenog. That's awesome. Charlie Ward, Insiders Club, pain to get lied to. That asshole needs justice, stealing and lying. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When it's all said and done, are these people like the Wards and all these grifters, are they going to see their comeuppance? And I think many of them already have. Like, they're losing viewers like crazy. They're being exposed for their lies, for their misinformation, disinformation. But in the end, I'm not worried about it because people are going to see the light and they're going to realize how important it was to be deceived by them because you allowed yourself to be deceived. See, if we're all doing our research like the Anons were doing back in the day and continue to do, me being one, uh, I don't just buy into what somebody says. I don't buy into them because I like the way their set looks. I don't buy into them because they're good looking. I don't buy into them because I like their voice. Now, if they have all these things and integrity in their message and discernment in their thinking, you got me. But I can see through posers. Folks, I lived in Hollywood for 25 years. Okay. It's the city where people, walk around with, 8x10 size photos of themselves. Okay. Headshots, right? It's a town where people call themselves producers and they haven't produced anything. It is a town. It is Tinseltown. It is a town of false facades. Just like in the old Westerns, that saloon wasn't a saloon. It had boards made up to look like it was a saloon. And when you went through those doors, you went into, probably a saloon in a sound studio, like built from the inside. So these are false facades that are happening in the truther movement. And that's really important for our growth, for us to make that realization and to not get caught by it. But when people talk about, this is what they're doing and they're stealing from people and all that, people gave them that stuff. People gave them that money. People allowed themselves to be deceived once again after awakening to being lied to for generations. So that was the next level of learning that a lot of people had to go through in order to find the way in which you do truth. So it's not about jumping from one person to another to another. I've always warned about that. You don't jump from Dan Rather to Charlie Ward to, Phil Godlewski to 107. You don't make that jump. You look at Dan Rather and you realize he was part of a CIA operation called Operation Mockingbird. And you look at how much they have lost the attention of the mass public through mainstream media. And you have to understand, well, they're not going to just give up. They're going to continue to try to lie to us and deceive us. And the biggest problem that I've had with all of these influencers that have been full of disinformation, misinformation, is that they created discouragement in this movement because they told you this October, by the end of October, this is all going to be done. By the end of January, it's all going to be done. By the end of now I've made that mistake with the inauguration. I thought there's no way they're going to let Joe Biden become president. So I was planning on that not being the case. There's no way that Donald Trump is going to lose the election and they're going to let Joe Biden be president for 4 years. That was me. I was wrong. And have talked about it. So, but we're talking about these people that say they know that something's going to happen by this date and it doesn't happen and you get discouraged. Then they say another thing that's going to happen. It never happens. Then it never happens, never happens. But they said it and they convinced you of it. The worst thing that can happen to a basketball, football, hockey team, a group of individuals is for them to get discouraged as a group. It's the worst thing you can do. If you're down 8 points and you've got 3 minutes to go, you do not want the message of discouragement to arise within that huddle. You want to make sure that people realize that we can come back and win this game. And we have to be in that mindset, because otherwise we're in this low vibration. But if we say, hey, we're going to come back and we're going to take back this great land, we're going to take back the earth from this satanic cabal, we got this, we're doing this. Do you feel how powerful that is? How that momentum of that energy, and like, oh man, this is happening. This is happening. But there were a lot of us that were doing that for years and kept getting chopped off at the legs, and we got discouraged. And that was the worst thing that happened to the truth movement by far. And I see a lot of these influencers as being responsible for that. Yes, we heard the call. We are united. We are one. There we go. Yeah, the military guy that gave secrets to China that was arrested lived about 30 miles from me. Demro, that's wild. So this is a story of a pilot who taught Chinese pilots and taught their whole training session on the actual a jet that they stole information on how to build from us. So that's a big, big deal. Bonnie says, I'm believing Almighty God is about to show up and show up. The heavens declare the Lord, and the firmament declares his handiwork. Well said. Yeah, even small town corruption is coming out without question, without question. Group hug. Yeah, beautiful. There's many layers. Yeah, we know their playbook without question. Yeah, hugs. Good stuff, folks. Yeah. So, my friends, let's see. Big Gouda, Ravens Wings. Dave, you're really correct. After all, Biden wasn't really president, but 4 years of damage was hard to see. Yeah. You know what? I have made that distinction. Like, he wasn't really the president, and so that was part of the show. So I guess I was right on that. And I've even had that conversation with people. They were like, you said Biden wasn't going to get elected. I said, he wasn't. He wasn't our president. That's a whole different one. That's a whole different one. Mach 1 Babe says, I've met Charlie Ward, Cash, Flynn, Jason Q, Derek J, Roger Stone, McKay, Artist, Jason Dean, Dr. Stella, Gene Ho, Atwood at events. Let me tell you, the vibes you get after meeting them tells it all. Interesting. You've seen a lot of people. Well, I've got a less, by the way, the best Q&A. Wow. I only view Q Alerts chat since 2014. Any chat that doesn't answer a question on Q is not good. Thank you. Love you, Dave, my Q man, Beatrice Menendez. Thank you for that. Good stuff. Good stuff, my friends. Listen, I actually got to cut off. I'm sorry if you didn't get like more, news from me today, but I think this was really awesome what we did here. And I got to let Jasper out, and I've got some things I got to do, but I'm going to see about doing a show maybe Friday or tomorrow or Saturday. Let's be on the lookout for a show note. And I'll let you know. But I love you all. You are my brothers. You are my sisters in this thing we call life. And I do love you. I don't say that. I love my fellow man. I see the pain. I see the hurt. I see the journey that we've all been on, not just with this, awakening, but just through our whole lives. And I just have a real compassion for each and every one of you and myself for this journey and how difficult it's been. And love is going to change this world. And so we got to put that out there. And I love you. So good night. I'll see you soon. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the great questions, the great comments, the great conversation I had with you tonight. Without question, it's fantastic. More polar bear paws. You tell that to Jasper. Ennisland, thank you. Wish I could help. You were a huge help with packing. I really appreciate that. And Mary McCurdy was a big help with packing, and Laurencio was a big help with packing. Maggie, I might need you. I might need your help. Let's be in touch, huh? Love is the answer. Vicky, awesome show tonight, Dave. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. Love you, pal. Good night. Dave and Jasper, appreciate you. Yeah, this is our country. Truth Seeker, thank you for all you do. Mach 1, babe, we love you. Thank you. Horseface, this was fun. Cool. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it, because I know I did. I know I did. Yeah, where we go one, we go all. Yeah. Thank you, BZ. We love you too, Dave. Yeah, this was a good night, folks. And I appreciate you. Be well. We'll do a spin probably the next show. So if you got on the wheel tonight, big thanks to you for your donation, and I'll call you out the night we do the spin. Thanks for being here. Dina, thank you. Love you all, especially you, Dave. I do as well. Thank you, Dina. Yeah, Kevin, thank you for that. Yeah, love is the only answer. Didn't see Jasper tonight. He's right here. Come here, buddy. Jasper, come. They want to see you. Come here. Come on. Come on up. Come on. Come on. Come on, good boy. Come on. Come on. Come up here. Come on. Here comes Jasper. There he is. What a good boy. What a good boy. Yes, you're such a sweetheart. Do you know that? I got to tell you guys a quick story to end the evening. So I went to this coffee shop, and they had an area out front or out back that was kind of like a fake grass area. It was kind of playground for kids, but no one was really there. And I had his leash, and I tied him to the table, and I was doing some work on my laptop, and I look down and I don't see him, and I turn around and he's over by the fence, and there's this little 3-year-old girl walking him with his, because he had his leash on, his two leashes, and she's just walking him around on his leashes. He's like just walking with her, being so gentle. And I said to the dad was at the next table, I said, I thought I tied him to the table. I must have missed the loop. And he said, oh, she's loving this. You all right with it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. He was just so gentle, and some other kids came by, and he was awesome with them. I was so proud of him. Yeah, there's our Sned baby. Around and cracks me up all the time. Just cracks me up. I am Jasper doesn't do cat turds. Horseface. That's funny. Beatrice, 73-year Mr. Dave, can't wait to see your next Q&A. Wait a minute. I gotta sing. I'm sorry, BP04. Catherine, it's your 73rd birthday. I almost forgot. I'm so glad that somebody asked about Jasper and I got delayed. Happy birthday, and thank you for spending your 73rd birthday with us. And I believe your name is spelled just like my mother's, Catherine. So thank you for being alive in this world, and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Catherine. May your life be so clear and joyful, and thank you for 73 years of being on this earth and bringing your light. Happy birthday, Catherine. Much love to you all. Good night, and be well. Take care of yourself.